Question 22. A gaming company is experiencing exponential growth. The result is in a dramatic increase in player data stored in their MySQL database. The database is hosted on a single Amazon EC2 instance using a large Amazon EBS volume, which is now creating a significant I/O bottleneck. To support global low latency access and future scaling needs, the company wants to decouple the data storage from the computer layer while minimizing administrative overhead. Which solution will best meet these requirements? Correct answer: migrate the database to Amazon Aurora Global Database for the MySQL and use the writer and reader database instance across regions. Question 23. A research organization needs to store petabytes of climate data for an analysis. The data is rarely accessed after the initial upload, but when it is, retrieval must be done quickly for ad hoc analysis. The organization needs the most cost-effective storage solution for this massive archive. Which AWS service and configuration should the solutions architect recommend? Store the data in Amazon S3 Glacier Flexible Retrievable and use the standard retrieval option when data is needed. Question 24. An IT company wants to provide an on-demand access to a set of static files, such as images and documents to use located globally. The files are infrequently updated and the company requires the lowest latency and highest data transfer speeds for users. Which solution provides the optimal balance of performance and cost? Correct answer: store the files in an Amazon S3 bucket and distribute them using Amazon CloudFront to catch the content at edge locations. Question 25. A financial institute is building a system to process streaming financial transactions. The system must integrate millions of records per second and needs a highly durable and scalable buffer to handle variable transaction volumes. The data must be available for near real-time processing and analysis by multiple downstream services. Which answer is best? Which AWS service is the most appropriate for this task? Use Amazon's Kinesis data stream to ingest buffer the data for multiple consumers. Question 26. A company has a batch processing workload running on an Amazon EC2 instance. The workload needs to store immediate results temporarily and requires a high-speed local storage. The intermediate results do not need to persist after the batch job's finished. Which Amazon EC2 storage option should be used to meet this requirement cost effectively? Correct answer: use the instance store volumes, which provide temporary block level storage for the life of the instance. Question 27. A company runs a mission-critical web application on Amazon EC2 instance in an auto-scaling group. They want to ensure that the application is protected against common web exploits such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting (XSS) without having to manage custom security software. Which of the following is the most appropriate and most cost-effective solution? Correct answer is deploy an AWS WAF web application firewall and associate it with an application load balancer ALB fronting the EC2 instance. Question 28. A solutions architect is designing a new 3-tier application. The application layer requires a highly available share file system that can be mounted by multiple Amazon EC2 instances across different availability zones. In the same region, the file system must support the NFS protocol. Which AWS service meets the requirement? use Amazon's Elastic File System, Amazon's EFS, which is designed for sharing file storage for EC2 instances across AZs. Question 29. A small startup is building a new application and needs a relational database that is highly available, cost-effective, and automatically scales storage capacity as the data grows. They are looking for a managed service that requires minimal operational maintenance. Which AWS service is the most appropriate? Amazon's RDS for PostgreSQL, configured with multiple AZ deployments and storage auto-scaling enabled. Question 30. A company is hosting a public-facing website on Amazon's EC2 instance. A security assessment revealed that the website's response to degrades over time significantly during heavy traffic, making it susceptible to DDoS attacks. The company needs a managed service to protect against these attacks and improve website resilience. Which two AWS services should be used together to meet these requirements? Select two. The correct answers: 1. AWS Shield Advanced for enhanced DDoS protection. 2. Amazon's CloudFront for absorbed traffic at the edge case location. This provides caching. Question 31. A company runs a legacy Windows application on premise that uses server message blocks SMB protocol for file sharing. The company wants to migrate the application to AWS while keeping the storage layer highly available and preserving the SMB without managing underlying servers. Which AWS service should the solutions architect recommend? Use Amazon FSx for Windows file server and configure it for multiple deployments is the correct answer. Question 32. A gaming company hosts a leaderboard application using an Amazon DynamoDB table. The application sees very high read traffic globally, and the company requires significant digital millisecond latency for single-digit millisecond latency for reads across multiple AWS regions. Data consistency for the leader is not a strict requirement, as stale reads are acceptable. Which AWS feature should be implemented to meet the latency across regions? The correct answer is enable Amazon DB global tables for leaderboard.